UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi just wrapped up and Reiner De Ridder beat down Robert Whittaker and grinded him down to get a split decision victory, 48-47 on two different judges' scorecards. Very, very close. Let me know in the comments who you thought should have got the win. We're going to go over the co-main event and the main event today because I cannot not mention a fight that I did go over on my TikTok. You can check my full card reaction over the night on my TikTok, Benji MMA, but man, Petr Yan, I cannot leave here tonight without talking about him in depth. He's such a good aura farmer. There's not a better aura farmer in the business. The thing is with Petr Yan, he can have a very slow-paced chess match and make it so entertaining, where you're just on the edge of your seat watching what he's going to do next. Some people were very critical over Marcus McGhee being the calibre of opponent Petr Yan just beat. Marcus McGhee was a guy that a lot of people were picking to beat Petr Yan. Don't try and rewrite history now and say it wasn't a good win. McGhee's pretty good. I knew it'd take Petr Yan a round to look at him. This is exactly what I said on my predictions. And then I said rounds 2 and 3, Yan will really pick up the pace and start styling on him. He just doesn't have a good style to beat Merab. This is the weird thing with Petr Yan. He's more skilled than Merab, right? I don't care what anybody says. He's more skilled than Merab as an all-around mixed martial artist, but Merab's chain wrestling is so elite, and his cardio and pace is so elite. Yan will just never be able to get going against Merab. How can he download the data, soak it all into his system, if that kind of makes sense? I don't think he'd beat Merab still. So good though. God, he's so good. I don't care if he's ever champion again. He's so good. Petr Yan. So very good. And I always say, when I watch him on his best nights, I say, he's genuinely one of the most, if not the most skilled fighters I've ever seen. Ever. Skilled. Not greatest fighter of all time. Not even better. Like, he might be one of the best fighters I've ever seen. As an all-around mixed martial artist with his technique and his technical prowess, when Yan gets going, and when you fight Petr Yan in a slow-paced chess match, man, he absolutely drains you. And it just goes to show how good Merab's conditioning is, because it absolutely drains the life out of everybody else Yan fights. Aldo, you're concentrating so much, you're reacting to Yan's feints, you're trying to find gaps in that defence. Marcus McGhee never usually slows down like that. Some people were saying like bro's going yellow and that maybe he's got a bit of liver failure in my comments, but that's insane to me. He might be, who knows? He might be on that juicy stuff, but man, that just makes it even better for Yan, I suppose, at the end of the day. McGhee never usually slows down like that, though. McGhee tried to bring the pace of the fight, like, frantic. At the start of the fight, he was trying to get Yan to bite on his feints, and Yan just wasn't. He was just reading him, extended lead hand, reading him, switching stances, extended lead hand light on his lead leg. He's just so good at being just out of range when you look for the round kick to the body, just moving his body out of the way. When you look to head kick him, leaning out of the way. He's so good at it, man. His striking is so very good. And you need to really get him overthinking. You need to have crushing power like Sean O'Malley to even up the fight with Yan on the feet a little bit more. Or you need relentless wrestling and cardio and pace like Merab Dvalishvili to even the fight up on the feet with Yan. Because, man, he drains the living life out of anybody he's fought. Any striker he fights just gets drained. They start overthinking. And you can see him throughout the course of the fight. They watch him more. They wait for him more. They try and counter him more. He's so good at pulling you into his fight. And I know I'm supposed to talk more about Yan's great win, but it does make me think, man, I can't believe that this guy is not the best guy in this division. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I watch Yan sometimes and I think he should be a long reigning champ. He should never have lost that belt. And he's had some dodgy decisions, like I thought he beat Sean O'Malley. I thought that was a robbery. I gave Yan all 3 rounds. It's definitely more close to a Yan 30-27 than it is a Sean O'Malley 29-28, if that kind of makes sense. That's how I've always viewed that fight. And I think Yan did win all 3 rounds clearly. Sean gave him a good fight, but you know, Yan was never going to get that decision. And you knew it at the time. I thought Yan clearly beat Sean. The Aljamain Sterling 2 fight, pretty close. I thought Aljo edged it, but you know what? Close fight. Not too much of a knock on Yan. He's had a bad loss to Merab, but other than that, Sean O'Malley fight was a robbery. The Aljo fight was close, and the other fights he's just styling on guys. Song Yadong beats him. Pretty competitive fight, but he's just too good technically for Song Yadong. Davison Figueiredo, man, he made Davison Figueiredo look like an amateur. And you know when Yan starts getting that foot sweep, you know that's when he's winning the fight. Because that doesn't come out until he's winning. That doesn't come out until he's like, I've got you. And that literally is the sign of him saying, I've got you. You know the other week when the MMA guru was saying that when somebody's landing the jab on you, it's like, I've got you, you're there, you're right there, I see you. When Yan starts getting that foot sweep on you, it's his way of saying, I have you now. So fucking good, Petr Yan. I don't care if you call this glaze. He's so good. I'm not the first person to say this, and I know I'm not going to be the last, but just watching him is like pleasurable. You know what I mean? He's not an outspoken personality. He's not a brash guy. He's not an overconfident guy. But I just sit there watching him thinking, God, wow, this guy's got real sauce. So anyway, I just thought I'd show Petr Yan 6 minutes of glaze and love. But you know what? Some might say it's worth it. And if you don't agree, whatever. It is what it is. Reiner De Ridder beats Robert Whittaker by a split decision, 48-47 on 2 judges' scorecards. And Robert Whittaker on the other judges' scorecard won it 48-47. 48-47's fine for Reiner De Ridder. I do think there's a shout for 49-46. That might be a little bit of a hot take. But I really do believe Reiner De Ridder did win this fight. The 5th round was very grinding. It wasn't very entertaining. They were both absolutely exhausted. But Reiner De Ridder had a little bit more left in the gas tank. And he was always going to aim to grapple with Rob in this fight. And Rob showed absolutely no resistance in the 5th. I've never seen Robert Whittaker fall apart like that before in terms of his actual gas tank and his work rate over the course of a fight. And I think for me, Robert Whittaker's not in his prime. Had the Robert Whittaker who fought Kelvin Gastelum has showed up tonight, he would have absolutely destroyed Reiner De Ridder. Absolutely destroyed him. His just distance management. Rob still looked fast with his 1-2s and his entries, but his creativity seemed to be a bit more hesitant tonight. That might just because of the takedown threat. His distance management seemed a little bit off, and I know Reiner De Ridder's a lot more longer than Robert Whittaker, but you've seen Whittaker manage distance with guys like Israel Adesanya. You've seen him manage distance with very good distance strikers in the past. Whittaker just seems like he's slowed down a little bit at this stage of his career, and it's to be expected. And I did predict Reiner De Ridder to beat Robert Whittaker in my prediction videos, and I said, I think he's going to beat Robert Whittaker just because Robert Whittaker's had to get himself up to get a title shot nearly every single time. He goes on a good run, he's about to get a title shot, he puts in a really good performance, and he just slips up at the end. He either loses that title shot or he just falls short of the #1 contender fight. Let's say with Khamzat Chimaev. He just falls short, Robert Whittaker. And it's very hard to keep binging yourself back up and get going again. It's hard to do it. And somebody who's fast twitch like Robert Whittaker, I knew this decline was going to come at some point. He still looks very, very good when he's fresh. But even in the Yoel Romero wars, you know, when he's fighting high output against Kelvin Gastelum, or when he's fighting Israel Adesanya in the rematch and he's constantly fainting, or Darren Till constantly fainting, having to concentrate massively, he never slows down like that usually. And for me, Reiner De Ridder did a great job at landing the knee to the body. That won't have helped Robert Whittaker's gas tank whatsoever. But for me, even when Whittaker was fresh, De Ridder lacked so badly defensively. It was like, Rob, how are you not exploiting that hole? Like, there was times Reiner De Ridder on Whittaker's jab was just like leaning away. That was not a slip. He's just leaning away. And if Whittaker had come in with a 1-2, 1-2, or a 1-2 left hook, followed by a right hand, a 4-punch combination, he would have had Reiner De Ridder in big trouble. And he did have Reiner De Ridder in big trouble at one stage in this fight. And I thought the fight was going to be over there and then. Reiner De Ridder rocks Robert Whittaker up against the fence, lunging in with a knee. I think then he landed a short elbow behind it. It wobbles Robert Whittaker. He looks for the knee again, and this was the only time Whittaker was able to time the right overhand over it. Kept telegraphing that knee. Whittaker finally found the timing and the confidence to throw the right overhand. He knocks down Reiner De Ridder. Looks like the fight is going to end, and De Ridder survives. He is a dog, De Ridder, and he can grind on you. You know, not in that way, nor did he. But he can grind on you. He can wear you down. He can press you up. It just doesn't sound good, but he can press you up and grind you down, up against the fence especially. And he did what he had to do to secure the win. But for me, man, honestly, I don't want to make excuses for Rob, but I really believe Whittaker of just a few years ago, if he'd have shown up against Reiner De Ridder tonight, he would have beat the fuck out of Reiner De Ridder. De Ridder would never have been able to get going. Like the 1-2 head kick combinations, it was just lacking from Rob. The confidence was lacking from Rob. He didn't seem confident in his wrestling tonight. And he came off a dominant loss from Khamzat Chimaev too, who easily submitted him, smashed him on the ground. So that would have been playing on his mind. That will have been playing on his mind too. Whenever De Ridder lunged for a takedown from distance, it got a huge reaction out of Rob, and he'd leave his chin in the air, and De Ridder started coming over the top with the left overhand. It was grinding, it was ugly, and that's what Reiner De Ridder needed to make it. But in the first round, man, that was the wrong game plan. Circling Robert Whittaker, poor defensively on Whittaker's jabs. I really believe Whittaker from a few years ago would have massively exploited that, but this is Whittaker now. And for me, you know, he's done a lot in his career. He can still win some fights, I'm sure, but that title runs over for me. And it's the end of an era, really, because Israel Adesanya's probably never going to get back up there. Kelvin Gastelum's gone. Whittaker was like the only one left that's still kind of sticking in there. But man, I think it's done now. I think it's come to an end. Reiner De Ridder has beat Robert Whittaker. He might be in line to fight the winner of Dricus and Khamzat, but if that's a close fight, they'll probably fight each other again. Maybe Imavov, maybe Caio Bahayo, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe Israel Adesanya, I'm not sure. But yeah, Reiner De Ridder did what he had to do to win, but I'm not as impressed as I thought I would be with De Ridder beating Robert Whittaker. For me, I just think it's a clear sign in Whittaker's decline, and also a clear sign that Reiner De Ridder would not beat Dricus du Plessis. Reiner De Ridder would not beat Khamzat Chimaev. I don't think he beat Imavov, but he's very good on the ground. He's got a great chin. He's tough, he's durable, and man, he can wear on you. Thank you all very much for watching. Let me know what you thought about this one. So glad we got an early card. The far and few between, and they never happen when the UFC actually comes to my country. But you know what? It's fine. You appreciate it more if it happens less, I suppose. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye, everybody.